Trailblazers tip off their season tonight.
Hey. Merry Christmas, everybody.
And Edwards in town, going to be at the Moda Center tonight.
Yes, he is.
Looking to shut and silence a lot of people.
Bring your ass.
He was caught on a burner social media account on Instagram.
Who was he arguing about? Was he defending Ann Edwards?
Well, it's weird because, I think he's secretly acknowledged this is his burner. It's a picture of a fat white kid on it, and it was basically, it's like pro Anthony Edwards content.
He's defending his career.
And he has a list of things he wants to do, and a lot of them are like dunk on, and then he scratches out names because he doesn't want you to know who it is, but he's got goals.
He's trying to dunk on people. Is Donovan Clingan on that list tonight?
Oh, I bet it is. I bet he is. I'm excited. Yesterday at practice, as we get ready for the tip-off of your Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, asked by our great friend Casey Holdall, who will be on in the 8 a.m. hour today, hey, man, who's your starting lineup? He listed it, and to the shock of some, Shaedon Sharpe is in that starting lineup. And when asked, what led to this was Chauncey Billups' answer.
I feel like we have 7 starters on this team. I really do. Those 5, Jeremy and Scoop. Feel like we got 7 starters. For the first year, I had some really, really tough decisions to make, and I like that. They came in and did great. Jeremy was incredible in camp, along with the other guys. I just feel like right now this is kind of how we need to go, how we need to start. And who ends the game, I'm not sure. This is just how it is. This is just how it is. The NBA is tough. It's a very competitive situation, but this is where we at.
So he did the thing most people were hoping for. He announced that it will be Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe.
We did it!
Denny, Tumani, and the Klinger in the starting lineup tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Look, every time I think I'm going to, are they going to give me something to boo-hoo about? Are they going to give me something to be negative about? What do you got for me? What's around the next corner, Blazers? How is negative dirt going to come out? And then yesterday I'm at home, and I didn't know there was a press conference. I probably should have known that.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling social media. What's going on? Little guy's down for a nap. It's the first thing I saw, and I burst out into a smile. I could not even begin to tell you how happy I am. This is the right call. Who closes the game could be a night-by-night basis. Who's playing better? Are you up? Are you trailing? There's determining factors that can change that. That's a different conversation. Who should be in the starting lineup? You just signed your young guard who was a top 10 pick to a $90 million contract extension. He is a part of your long-term future.
Yep.
Jeremy Grant's days in Portland are numbered, whether it's this deadline or next offseason. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
That's fine. I don't know if anybody will eventually trade for him or want that deal.
Right.
But would they get to the point where they got to buy him out like they did DeAndre Ayton? He's not going to be here 5 years from now. Shaedon Sharpe will likely be here 5 years from now. He's a part of your core in what you're building, and he's ready for this moment. And the idea of continuing to make him come off the bench when there's somebody in the starting lineup who has not shown anything in preseason, hardly, and regressed incredibly as a player last year, to me would have been really hard to stomach. And so 1 for 1 out of the gate, Chauncey Billups, you made the right call. Shaedon Sharpe deserves to be in the starting lineup.
I tend to agree with you. It's hard to really publicly talk about deserving and who's earned it and then watch what Jeremy Grant was last year.
That's the whole point. If Jeremy Grant was playing at a level that he was 4 years ago,
sure,
I would have no issue with him still being in the starting lineup. He was dreadful last year.
And I think the best part about this to me isn't so much it's great to see Shaedon in the starting lineup. It's something we've wanted. To me, it's more about, I think a big part of this is the attitude as well. And I'm not saying this about Jeremy. Shaedon was asked at media day about coming off the bench or starting. He basically was like, I'll do whatever it takes, man. I don't care. I'll do what they need me to do. And, it was like a 10-second answer, but it was exactly what you would want to hear from a professional athlete, right? There wasn't, I hope I'm in the starting line. I've earned it. He just was like, I'll roll with whatever.
Yep.
And he's kind of a laid-back nature that way. And then he came out, and I didn't necessarily light it up per se, but I thought he had a really good preseason, enough to say he can start. And Chauncey's right. They do have essentially 7 starters. Now, how the Scoot stuff gets figured out once he really ramps back up in his back.
Somebody will be the odd man out there.
Well, we'll see. And it might end up being Scoot. And say, be our 6th guy with Jeremy off the bench, you two, and Youngs. But I liked this. It makes me more excited. I already was excited.
Yes.
And it's going to be an interesting year. And I was thinking about numbers yesterday and looking at a lot of different things with the Blazers. And I'm more wondering this year, is it going to be 3.5 or 41. And it's a Statter Story Wednesday, which we'll get to at 9:15-ish. But is it 3.5 or 41? And the two numbers I'm giving you there are, is this going to be a continuation of the 3.5 years of not consistent, not beating good teams, no play in, or is this going to be piggybacked off the 41 game sample size? They internally have convinced themselves they took the right steps. They were 23-18 in their final 41.
Gave everybody an extension.
They've given extensions. They were top 5 defensive team in the league. They've leaned into the identity of the defense. And, you know, it is a win off the court that you give Chauncey, but I'm fascinated to see if they take that step. Is this going to be the continuation of those 41? Or is this going to end up being what the other 3.5 years? Yeah. And it's varying, obviously, but
sure,
no play-in. And you know me, my expectation for this team, play-in.
That's a totally fair expectation on the year.
There's nothing wrong with saying there's an expectation. It doesn't have to be more than the play-in. You don't have to say playoff wins or a win. Like, just be in the play-in.
Take the next step.
Because the metric we have from the homie is that 44 of the last 50 teams to be top 10 defensively make the playoff, let alone be in the play-in.
Yep.
And so if you have that kind of defense, which we all kind of think they do or they're capable of, you pair that with Shaedon, that's my expectation as the season starts off tonight.
Yeah, I will say this, and I don't know, maybe I'm on an island on this one because I know there's diehards out there that feel this way probably every year, that live and breathe it, and every second of their life is consumed with Blazer thoughts. This is the most excited for a year that I've probably been since the year after the conference final run. Like, this is the most up I've been, not in terms of like what my expectations are or where I think the team's going to go, but just holistically. Like, I've been somebody who I think has been very consistent on the thought of, I'm going to have a hard time in emotionally investing myself into an organization that is owned by Jody Allen, because I just don't trust her. I don't think she's a good owner. I don't think she cares. I've never heard her talk once outside of a Shaedon Sharpe draft video, and I don't know what the plans, the goals, the expectations are. And so that now changing on the horizon, coupled with the moves of Anthony Simon should have been traded a couple of years ago, and they finally made that move. We can debate the return, but I'm glad he's not on the roster anymore. And DeAndre Ayton not being your starting center and having to yell about does he care or does he not care.
He's a Laker problem.
Dominating. He's their problem now. Go deal with it. And again, I don't know what it means in terms of wins and losses this year, but a change in leadership, a change structurally in the way the roster is built, now coupled with the idea of your top 10 pick starting at shooting guard. Your top 10 pick from a year ago at center is now the starting center of this team, and we'll see how many minutes he's able to play. I'm excited to see Scoot eventually when he comes back in a pivotal kind of contract year for him. And then Young Hanson's going to get back up 5 minutes probably early in the season. We'll see how his role looks like and what the rotation is going to appear to be. But all of those things put together has me the most excited I've been for a season in a long time. They've had good years. They've had great players. They've had good moments since then. But in terms of just the overall enthusiasm that I have about the state of the organization, this is as excited as I've been in probably 5 years.
Ooh.
Because you had the conference finals run. The next year, we were all jacked coming into that year, and the year went terribly until COVID shut it down. And then they made the bubble, and you had that bubble run with Dame. The next year, we're like
all-time elite basketball there.
All-time elite basketball,
but not
no doubt.
A great result. Yeah.
The next year, it's like, what were they? They were this,
right.
And then they were that,
They
and then
pivoted
Neil's
out.
still here, and we're not
Neil
trading
got fired.
CJ, and then Neil gets fired, and then
you're right.
strung the Dame thing out, and I'm like, okay, he's still here.
Very fair.
And then it's an overall restart, and Jody's owning the team, and it just, I have felt like I'm lost wandering through the wilderness at times as a fan the last couple of years, and now I feel like I don't know what it means in terms of Tom Dundon taking them to the top of the mountain. It's very difficult to do in the NBA. But just in terms of having a semblance of hope as a fan, it feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.